All right, happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Bandwagon Wednesday around theraiderland.com. Coming to you from the Arctic Air Studios tonight, brought to you in part by Pete's Tire Service in Ropesville, Texas. Roadside assistance, didn't get much better than that. Also brought to you by South Plains College in Levelland. The road to Raiderland runs through Levelland. A lot of great Red Raiders started off as great Texans. Did you know that they got like cooking classes for your kids? It's really cool. All right, so let's get it going today. You know, I do the early arrivals. You let us know the audio is good, the video is good. Give us thumbs up, all that sort of good stuff. If you are jumping in on Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it these days, or YouTube Live, you need to get on the text line. It's not just any text line, it's the United Supermarkets text line, 806-772-0197. Says it right there on your screen, 806-772-0197. All right, Bandwagon Wednesday, the ones you're on, the ones you're off. Ultimate offensive weapon, college football history. We're going to have fun with this tonight. Tech football discussions getting ready for UCF. Just make a bowl, baby. And if I gave you a devil's wager today on Tech basketball, would you take it regarding the NCAA tournament? All that, whatever else is on your mind tonight. In 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, theraiderland.com, the website. Glad you're here tonight in the Arctic Air Studios. They're locally owned and operated in West Texas. Owned by a veteran, that's right. Semper Fi, Shane. We've got you taken care of this fall. If your heater ain't heating, you need to call the bear, callthebear.com. We mentioned it earlier, Pete's Tire Service, Roseville, Texas, great servants to a community, great servants to West Texas. You probably don't need tractor tires, even though they can work on those and get you taken care of. But if you break down, they're there for you. Put it in your phone, Pete's Tire Service, Roseville, Texas. And, of course, our good friends, Dane and everybody else over there at South Plains College. Great place to start. Great place to continue your education there. Shout out, SPC. All right, let's get it going tonight on the United Supermarkets text line, 806-772-0197. That's where you kick in your thoughts, comments, if you're watching on Twitter and on YouTube. Everybody who's on Facebook, hi there, Ryan. James is in there. Celia watching. Glenn getting in. We're glad you're there as well. You guys can communicate the old-fashioned way as well right there. Texas Tech football, let's be honest, right? That right now it's just make a bowl. Whatever that bowl may be, just go to a bowl game. You got to beat UCF to do it. Have we changed the odds from a -3 here? Let's see what we got. We'll double check on that. Really, the main thing on Texas Tech football, to me, is just if you make a bowl game, you don't give up any ground. This thing is now -2.5. This is going to bounce back and forth. I think it's going to go off at 3. -2.5, absolutely. Absolutely love Texas Tech at -2.5. I like them all the way up to 5.5 into 6 and get into that territory. But the bottom line for this team, just make a bowl game now. You gave away 2 games early, and by gave away, we mean Wyoming and we mean West Virginia. Now, you can't buy those games back, obviously, but you can finish on a pretty strong note. If you can beat UCF this weekend, then you don't worry about Texas. Maybe you get them, maybe you don't. Probably don't. I really am not liking this matchup going forward as we get closer to it. Doesn't really matter. But that you can sit there and knock out TCU, Kansas, UCF, and then a bowl win, and that's a nice finish. And people remember the finish. Texas Tech people remember the finish. That's why Cliff Kingsbury got him a nice extension after beating Arizona State there in the Holiday Bowl that year. So it's bowl game, right? Now the question is, do you think you can get there? Do you think it can happen? Hi there, Christopher. Not Christopher, Chris. Hi there, Michael. Hi there, Damon. You guys getting in on the text line as well. 806-772-0197. United Supermarkets, your tailgating headquarters, so much more than that. They've got just, I mean, you can go to the bakery and find out that there are breads you don't even know exist and that you should probably occasionally bring them home. Maybe you go back there to the seafood area. They'll steam it for you, flavor it. It's all pretty good. It's all really good. It's United Supermarkets. Tech football, winning games in November has been a new thing. Yeah. Don Williams, column on that in the AJ. What is it? 5-2? That seems like too many. Anyhow, Joe McGuire has won in November. What does that mean? What do we learn from that? What does that tell us? What do you think that tells us? You guys get on the conversation. Have you spread the word today? Have you shared this on Twitter and Facebook? Have you put it out there that we're talking Red Raider sports with people in West Texas and food and music and whatever? You should. Product placement. Yeah. That would you rather win games in September and lose in November, or lose in September and win in November? And before somebody says, I want to win in both. Yeah, you want to win both. It means they don't regress. It means you're getting conference wins. Yeah. It means you're getting better as the year goes on, even in a year where Baron Morton is so not 100%. For whatever reason, it's Taj Brooks, and then they just really don't want to do anything else with any other back. There you go. Am I going to go see Smash Mouth on Saturday, says Michael? The answer is no. I wouldn't walk across the street, even though I don't live on one. Like, yeah, technically I do. I wouldn't walk out into the cotton field across from my house if Smash Mouth were playing one terrace over. But I'm sure people will. They've done an interesting job bringing in, by the way, musical acts that try to appeal to the kids, to the older crowd, to the whatever. I would imagine if you're a 40-something, I guess, maybe. Would it be 40-something, 50-something on the Smash Mouth? Yeah. Ultimate offensive weapons, all-time college football. Let's talk about that tonight as well. Heard a really cool beginning of a discussion with Mitch and Polly there on VSiN on Follow the Money. And they broached the idea about, certain offensive players in college just being so dominant that it's college that a great player stands up even more. And I was sitting there thinking in my head, Michael Crabtree could not be defended for the most part at the college level. At the NFL level, he could be defended. Vince Young, good answer right there. An incredible weapon at the dawn of the zone read, which is really an old play out of the single wing, not the wing T, but the single wing. The single wing gave you the zone read. It's pretty cool watching some of that. Anyhow, yeah, Vince Young, an ultimate college football weapon. So it could be players, it could be scheme, it could be coaches, it could be whatever. But they didn't go down that road. They were running out of time. I'm like, dude, you guys are really hitting into something. It's VSiN. They do everything from a sports betting angle, not a sports talk radio angle. So I was like, I'd be stealing that. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Polly. I'll be stealing that. I'll hat tip them. Don't worry. So we have that, the ultimate college football weapons all time, players or otherwise. We have Texas Tech football that we can discuss. Make a bowl game. I know you're probably not going to be happy that that's where we are, but that's where we are. And you don't have to be happy. You don't have to be sad. You don't have to be mad. That's just the reality. The reality is just go to another bowl game and win a bowl game. The bowl games don't matter. No, they don't. But if you've got to play in it, win it. In Texas Tech, the last couple of years has kind of mastered that whole deal. If you're going to have to play in a bowl game, go win the bowl game. I guarantee you Ole Miss wishes they'd won that bowl game. Mississippi State wishes they had won that bowl game. It makes it a lot easier to sell tickets in the offseason. And then Bandwagon Wednesday, you guys know how this works. Bandwagons are on, bandwagons are off. Sports or otherwise, things you're supporting, things you're not. Right now, apparently my wife and my son are on some sort of Oriental food bandwagon consisting of dumplings, sushi, fried rice, and things of that sort. We're on this, and I'm not opposed to the dumpling, the pot sticker, anything like that, but they seem to be on that bandwagon right now, judging from what I've bought at the store the last couple of days. You could be on a bandwagon, obviously sports related. Would you be on this bandwagon today? See how we craft and morph and we do everything? By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitter, use the United Supermarkets text line to get your comments and questions in. 806-772-0197. That was a gnat right there. I'm just not doing that. It's a gnat. 806-772-0197. Would you be on the bandwagon tonight if I told you Texas Tech is the 11th seed in the East region in the NCAA basketball tournament? As they sit here 2-0, the RPI, by the way, is in the 40s now on hoopshd.com, and that's why I bring this up. Bradville has them on the next 4 out. Not the first 4, but the next 4. That's fine. That's about the right place. But if I told you right now that this Texas Tech team would make the NCAA tournament, would be an 11 seed, which I think, and maybe David Collier can help me out here, the guru of all sports things on KMAC 28 Red Raider Nation, I think Tech was an 11 seed the first time they went to the tournament with Tubby Smith and played. Who did they play? Vermont? That doesn't sound right. Xavier? They play Xavier? I can't remember. It's been a while. Finished the year beating UT and winning a bowl. You know, B. Ramirez is a pretty darn good year. You're probably not going to beat UT. So how about you beat UCF and you go win a bowl game? Then what kind of year do you have? Clay, he's watching. Chris, I'll take it. The 3 and 6 seed you'd face won't be better than what you'd face in the Big 12. Talking about basketball. The first year under McCasland, would you be willing to take that deal right now today? That the year plays out. You're up, you're down, you're good, you're not so good, you have struggles, but you are in the tournament, you're an 11 seed. Would you do it? I think I would. Anymore, I'm kind of coming around a little bit, and I have to. And I'm going to articulate this poorly, not nearly as well as Rob Rowe does. Shout out Gambling Gauchos. But the beautiful thing about the NCAA tournament of basketball, just get in and go from there. That more or less after the first day's games, you funneled into where you would be if you were a 3 and a 6, if you were whatever. And now it only matters what jersey you're wearing. Are you wearing a dark jersey or a light jersey? The democratic nature of the tournament is such that if you're in and you're playing your best basketball at that time, that's the key right there. And again, I'm probably morphing a little bit of what Rob says about this, but that just make sure you're in it. Then it doesn't really matter, right? I really think Tech was an 11 seed. I'm going to be so. No, that was an 8-9 game, wasn't it? With Tubby's first team in the tournament. Oh, well. 11 seeds have gone on to Final Four runs in recent years. Yeah. You look at where the 11 seed has been relegated to last of the Power Fives and some of the first of the non, even though we don't say Power Fives basketball, majors, mid-majors, and other ones. So would you do that if you're a Texas Tech basketball fan? Texter on the United Supermarkets text line. Yes, ceiling probably 7, so for sure. The ceiling could be higher than 7. Again, depending on how you think this team's going to do. I'm encouraged that folks, you guys don't think San Jose State matters in college basketball? It matters. That was a really good non-conference game to play. It moved you up from about 90 to in the 40s on hoopshd.com. Now, that metric's going to fluctuate. That's why I say go there every day. TheRaiderland.com commentary. Are you guys checking out the commentary? Are you? I did one today on Patrick Mahomes and the economic engine that he is. Maybe the single greatest economic engine to ever come out of Texas Tech. You should check it out. TheRaiderland.com. That by playing to San Jose State, that a lot of people around here just go yawn, and I get it. I understand. That's a lot better than playing some Louisiana directional school. And you've got, obviously, with Nova coming up and what you've got over Thanksgiving, Butler. This is not a really bad non-conference schedule that I think you could hit Big 12 play in the 40s, maybe even better. And if you do that, then the 7-8 seed that we were talking about earlier, You can exceed that. You're not limited by that on the ceiling. I'm glad they played that game. Not just another random game against some directional school. Hi there, Peyton. So Texas Tech hoops, 11 seed in the tournament. Would you take that deal today? Ultimate offensive weapons in college football all time. Nats. It's November 15th. How do we have Nats? Tech football, just make a bowl. You got questions, thoughts, Tech football, UCF, we can do that. Man, how about Dana Holgerson, soon to be fired Dana Holgerson, having a blast trolling UCF, bagging on the uniforms, the whole Space City deal, saying, yeah, they didn't say Orlando, we have a problem. They said Houston, we have a problem. God bless Dana Holgerson. I'm going to miss him when he's gone. Ryan says, assuming they can win most non-conference games, does 500 in conference play get them in the tournament? Yes, absolutely. I think every 500 team in recent memory in the Big 12 has been in the NCAA tournament if they were eligible. Maybe Oklahoma State didn't get in on one, but I think almost every 500 team in conference play in the Big 12 the last 10, 15 years has got in. So, yeah, you do 500, you're going to be in. I love being able to talk about that, by the way, in November. I know people are like, it's too early. You can't talk about that. How could you do that? And one of the guys at, was it hoopshd.com, I think, maybe, posted a deal, and it was like at the 19-18 mark of a game, and they had the score on, the score bug was on showing the score was like 2-0. He said, yeah, why do they even show the score this early in the game? What's the point? It's going to change so much. Why do you even? Because we like it. Dana could go to A&M. I'll say this: he can have a head job if that's what he wants, and I think he'll probably go back to a Valdosta State and do that. Tech will beat UCF by 7 to get in the bowl game. Really? 7 points? So you're saying you like them by a touchdown or more, Jimmy the Greek here. I'm kind of with you on that. I think it's a score game. We talk about key numbers in sports betting, 367 in the NFL, and even that's changing just a little bit. College football, even that's changing now as coaches continue to hate field goals for whatever reason. 7, I don't know that I'd lay 7. I mean, we're just talking from a numerical value on Texas Tech. 6.5, I'd probably feel okay. 5.5 for sure, but 6.5, I'm okay. 7, I wouldn't lay. Does long flights, drives, they don't drive anywhere, affect them for that team? No. Now, these players are used to flying everywhere. They charter everywhere. It's just not that big a deal. The travel now, and I say that now, if I'm a Cal and Stanford, and I'm going all the time to the East Coast. Yeah, that does get you down, particularly on the midweek stuff. But football travel, irrelevant. Doesn't matter. They'll get on a plane Friday morning. They'll fly 2.5 hours or whatever it is on a charter. They'll be here in Lubbock. It don't matter. Is that Oklahoma State game an outlier for UCF? It's probably the outlier for Oklahoma State. It's the annual Mike Gundy. We didn't show up. We're not going to play. It's why we can't advance beyond a certain level here in Stillwater. It's that game for them. So I'd say it's more an outlier for them than UCF. Does UCF, someone on the United Supermarket text line says, have as much talent as we face Sans Oregon? No, not even close. No. TCU has more talent than UCF. Kansas State has more talent than UCF. Pretty much every Big 12 team has more talent than the teams coming in, top to bottom, from BYU to whoever you want to throw out there. They do. Does that talent always win, play well? No. But do they have more talent? Yeah, they do. Bandwagon Wednesday. Ultimate offensive weapons. Let's have some fun with that before we get out of here. Ultimate offensive weapons, college football all time. the game changers that couldn't be accounted for offensively. I threw out Michael Crabtree because truly he was. That for 2 years, that in college football, you pretty much lined up Michael Crabtree and nobody knew really what to do with him. That he was able to make anything happen that he wanted to at that time. An incredible weapon, a great weapon, a singular weapon. And as I was thinking about this thing today, a lot of wide receivers came in because they get one-on-one matchups. Running backs don't have one-on-one matchups. Somebody mentioned Vince Young earlier, and I would kind of go with that a little bit too. Reggie Bush, for all the off the field, whatever, man, he was really good. Had talent, was a beast, absolutely. Started off at tight end. They moved him into the backfield. That's why he wore number 86. Maurice Clarett for 1 year. Thank you, Texas Tech, for getting him the Heisman Trophy. That was so painful that year in 2002. Every time you looked up and they were doing Maurice Clarett stuff on ESPN or whatever, there it was. Vasilio Hansen. Yeah. C.D. Lamb, especially this past weekend. C.D. Lamb's in college? College football. College football only, Michael. Pay attention. Pay attention. Keep up. College football only. You know, you think back on different quarterbacks that were so good, even prior to opening it up, air raid era football. Jake the Snake, hey, throw it out there. Put the little cry face out. Jake the Snake Plummer was a handful. Tommy Frazier was great. They're in the 1994 Nebraska team. That was just stupid and ridiculous. One of the greatest teams I got to see in person. Don Williamson, I used to talk about that stuff, trying to rank the all-time best players. He had one on Twitter the other day, Mike Webster, the former Steelers 1970s version, one of the greatest offensive linemen to play at Tech, at Jones Stadium, I should say. Marshall Faulk, bingo. You were too young for Marshall Faulk at San Diego State. I mean, we would be sitting up there. That was the walkaway game. And, of course, we couldn't get down anything because there was no internet and you couldn't, get right on the late games whack. But at the Spoon on 34th Street there, on the little bitty TV in the corner, we would sit there and watch that one. We'd watch that game. Really? Were you really? You went to college? Rodney Allison was a popular one, yeah. The healthy Rodney Allison of 1977 that we never saw would have been interesting to see. But that's the beautiful thing about sports and history, isn't it? Tim Tebow was pretty good. Don't tell him. Not red bombs, cherry bombs. Cherry bombs. Cherry bombs at the Spoon. And if you remember cherry bombs, as we said on Twitter today, you never had one if you can remember them. So, 1992, spring semester, end, finals, whatever. I'd gotten some really cool shoes, man. These, remember the Docksiders or whatever you used to call them? So these were even cooler than that. They were white, but they had the little leather, I call them stripes. I don't know what you call it for lack of a better term. Kind of look like the old set. Anyway, I had just got those. My girlfriend had bought me a pair of them, and they were awesome. They were spanking brand new. They were white with the leather on it, and I'm rocking that with the shorts and the shirt and everything. And we are at the Spoon that night, and we are knee deep in a couple of pitchers of Cherry Bomb, and that's when gravity jumped up and got us. It did. Rocket Ishmael was great. I mean, we had a full-on gravity storm there at the table for no real reason. I can't imagine why it would have happened. And a full pitcher of Cherry Bomb. For those who don't know, that's basically cherry drink and Everclear. in a frozen concoction. Think of a margarita. It's Everclear, and it's whatever the red juice was. And that concoction proceeds to spill out upon the table, which we are at, and then down my leg, because I got two, and onto those new, beautiful white canvas shoes. Never got it out. Never wore them again. I say that they turned out I mowed lawns in them. I mean, we're talking, these were like probably $100 shoes back in 1992. I'm not talking about $2 shoes. I'm talking about $100 shoes that I'd worn one day. They never got it. It looked like somebody had been murdered in them. If I'd been pulled over or stopped, sir, where's the body? We can see your shoes. 93 wedding party, went there after my wedding. Everyone had glowing red lips. First marriage, mind you. Yeah. Starter marriage. Yeah. You had your starter marriage type deal. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the Kool-Aid lips and everything. I guess that's what it was. It was red Kool-Aid, right? Basically. Good heavens. Yeah, if you remember having cherry bombs, you didn't have them. A few more minutes left with you. The ultimate college football offensive weapons of all time. Bo Jackson. Yeah, Bo over the top. Bo was pretty good. Doc Blanchard, just because. I mean, how far back do we want to go, right? Byron Whizzer White at the University of Colorado, the future Chief Justice of the United States, Byron Whizzer White. Go away, Nat. Unstoppable college football players. Because you can still do that even today. You can still have athletes that just out-athlete everybody on the field. The last one that Texas Tech had that really did that was Michael Crabtree. He was pretty darn good. You haven't seen anything like that since then, and you don't see a whole lot of that all the time. They're generational. I guess at certain schools maybe you have more than others, but yeah. Brett Weingarmer is watching. Brett, we're watching you. We are. Darren Lewis at A&M, pretty dang good in college. He was really good. He was, that was still an I formation type offense that the Aggies are running at that point. So not really wide open that's going to kind of feature anything else. Off the text line, saw Bettis in the Cotton Bowl. Jerome, man among boys, Notre Dame. Yeah. Get on the bus. I had him the only year he had a bad year in the NFL with the St. Louis Rams in fantasy football, where he averaged 3 yards, about 3.1 yards per carry. I killed him. And then he got good again right after that. Darren Lewis, man, I haven't thought about that name in a long time. Oh, God, that team. 1990. I think it would have been the 90 season when Tech went down to College Station that Darren Lewis and A&M hung up a number like 56 or 58 on Texas Tech. Tech had beat them in 89, went down there. Maybe not 90. No, 90 was a close game because I was down there in 90. So maybe it was 88. It might have been 1988 that they hung up 50 on Texas Tech down there. Yeah, I'm thinking that's right. I think it would have been 88 down there because 90 was a close game. I think he's in prison now. That's awful. I didn't laugh out loud. I bet it was 88 with Darren Lewis putting up a number because in 90 it's a close game. You're thrown into the end zone at the end of the game. Lloyd Hill is getting held 3 straight plays. I'm down there on the field. Not playing, mind you. I need to clarify that sometimes. People sometimes think I played, and I don't mean to give that impression. When I mean on the field, I mean in a media capacity down on the sidelines. And he was held 3 straight plays, and that was, that was Spike's 87, 88, 89, 90, 4th year. And interviewing him after that game down there, he was hot. He was tired, worn out. Probably one of those interviews where he just got out of the shower and don't got no shirt on. He's wearing a towel, which that was weird, But anyhow, and then in 92 is Terry Venetoulias, who kicks a field goal with hardly any time left, I think, to beat Tech down there. I think that's right. I don't know. Hard to do without the media guide. So I'm thinking it was 88 that Darren Lewis went crazy down there. You beat him in 89. 90, they held Lloyd Hill, and you couldn't get it. And then 91 wasn't so great in Lubbock, and then 92 was the Terry Venetoulias kick, where game management in that game was not so good. Texas Tech had an opportunity to take some timeouts while A&M was driving down. They didn't do it. And I really think Texas Tech took a timeout to the house on that game, even after it was over. There was also a game, I think it was Dusty Beavers, who missed a sack. And then, and this is pre-internet, pre-social media, just got hammered. People were like calling him up at home, his apartment, whatever, horrible messages and everything else. So, Brandon Ingram here at Alabama. Brandon Ingram was unstoppable. That was close to Leland McElroy years for the Aggies. Corey Pullett quarterback, yeah. Terry V. Well, we got to talking about A&M stuff, so there you go. Yeah, Dusty was all over him. Yeah. Sorry, Ben. Be glad you weren't there for the entire discussion. We've gone green, white, checker. We're into the bonus time. So game changers, ultimate offensive weapons in college football. Bandwagon Wednesday. Tech just needs to make a bowl. Just make a bowl. That's all you got to do. And then Tech Hoops. Would you take an 11 seed today in the NCAA tournament? Would you take an 11 seed right now, call it good, and take your chances? I think I would. I think I would. And not worry about another thing from there. There you go. Damon finally getting in on the green checker. See, Harvick bought Ricky Bobby's house. Seriously? The mansion that they used in Talladega Nights, that he has it? That's awesome. I hadn't seen that. That's cool. Leave Dusty alone. He's not the only one to miss tackle that day. No, that's what I was talking about, Ben, that was one of the earliest times I can remember a fan base, and I don't know how his phone number got disseminated and shared, but it did. It got out, and people were all over it. It's horrible. Of course, that's when I was getting death threats for not picking winners in the University Daily on the weekly college prediction games deal. I went 10-0, 9-1, 2 weeks in a row. And then the next week I was 3-7. And somebody got my number at my apartment. I was living in Indiana Village at the time. This is the fall of 1990. Somebody got my number somehow, and I got death threats over that. And I'm like, I ain't had a listed number since then, unless it was a screw up somewhere. Yeah, some crap on that. What a good dude Dusty was. Dusty is. Hopefully Dusty is. The good old days. Sometimes they weren't so good, but they pretty much were. All right, we got to end the stream first off for our friends on YouTube and on Twitter. And we thank you guys for being out there. We hit the end button. Do you really want to end it? Yes, I really want to end it.